Hi everyone, I'm Hakan, and in this video I'm going to show you how Microsoft fixed a time issue which has been there since the beginning of .NET. And many people try to fix this on their own, and there are also many third-party libraries for this. And the issue I'm talking about is this line of code right here, the datetime, or actually the system.datetime. And because I'm using this code right here, and on first sight there doesn't seem anything wrong with it, and this will work fine. Whenever a date of birth is being passed, it will just calculate whether the person is an adult or not and return a boolean. But the actual issue lies in testing this, because I've got two tests right now. The date of recording of this video is the 12th of January 2025. So that means exactly 18 years ago it was the 12th January of 2007. And that means someone born on that date should be an adult today, and someone born a day later should not be an adult. So the first should return true and the second should return false. If we go ahead and run these tests, we can see that the tests pass. But the issue is that as soon as my local machine hits the date of 13th of January, this test will start to fail, because on the 13th of January, a person with this date of birth will actually be an adult, and this assertion won't be correct anymore and will fail. And this issue happens because our service right now has a hard dependency on the system datetime. And in our tests, we can't go ahead and mark that out. So what we actually want is some type of interface that we can inject into the service, which has a UTC now method or property that returns the actual system UTC now. And then in our test, we can go ahead and mark that out. So what Microsoft has done in .NET 8, they have provided a new type or new class, which is the TimeProvider class. It's an abstract class. So let me show you what it looks like. It's the TimeProvider.system, and it's an abstract class. And the system property returns a system time provider, which is an implementation of this abstract class. And it contains all the needed functionality to work with time and work with dates, with time zones, etc. So what we can do is start actually injecting this time provider into our service. So we can say private read-only time provider, and inject it via the constructor. And then instead of saying TimeProvider.system, we can use our injected time provider, and then we can say get UTC now.date. So our logic remains the same, the result will remain the same. Before this will work, we'll also have to add the time provider to the service or the DI container. So we can say is builder.service.add singleton, and then we can say TimeProvider.system, which is the implemented time provider. And then we can go ahead and update our tests. But before updating our tests, we need to install a new NuGet package, which Microsoft has provided for us, which is the TimeProvider.testing, or the Microsoft extensions time provider testing. And this package contains a fake time provider, which we can use in our tests, which we can mock and make it return dates and times that we want. Okay, so back to our test, we can go ahead and remove this and add a private read-only fake time provider. And then add a constructor and say fake time provider is a new fake time provider. And then we can go ahead and say our set or our system under test is a new age service that injects our fake time provider. So what we now can do is to make this test always pass, instead of have the hard dependency on our local machine system date, we can create our own system date. So we can say for system date is new date time, and then we can go ahead and give it the date of today. So that's the 25th or 2025 January 12th. And then we can say that our fake time provider and set the UTC now date to a new date time offset and give it the system date. So that means whenever the get UTC now method is called inside of our service, it will return this date right here, the system date that we provided. And that way we can guarantee that this test will always pass, instead of having to change it every day based on what the current date and time is of our machine. We can also do it for our first test to make sure that the date remains always the same and the expected outcome always remains the same. So the benefit of this is that our service doesn't have a hard dependency anymore on the system clock, but rather it injects a time provider, which we can always in our tests just use this fake time provider and kind of mock the date and time of the system, which makes it easy for us for testing. Otherwise it will be pretty tedious, and you'd have to always be careful with what kind of date and times you're using for your arguments. It feels like using a normal mocking library to mock out your return results. So I highly recommend you to use the new TimeProvider class. It contains all the needed properties and methods for working with time and dates. So that's really nice. I don't have to implement any of those myself. And the extra provide benefit is that it makes testing very easy. So that's very nice. So that was the time provider. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.